This conference will now be recorded.
Michael Shelton, good morning. We're asking people to put their name in a chat box for attendance purpose and let me know whether you can hear or not or any other issues.
Good morning.
That's Michael Shelton.
That's Michael.
Camille, it's Eugene Pugh.
Good morning, Mayor Pugh. How are you?
I'm good.
Been searching for you. That's how I look.
I've been working, been planting cotton.
Oh yeah, I know. Okay, it is playing time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Miss Lewis did tell me that. Mayor Pugh, I'm asking everyone to put their name in a chat box for attendance purposes. We need to make sure that we do have a quorum. If you could type your name in, go ahead.
Camilla, we're on the phone. Do you want me to go in there and bring it up on my system?
Oh, Miss Lewis, that's fine. After the meeting, could you just email me your name then? Because I know some of you guys are on the phone, but your name is coming as a caller, so I can count that too.
Okay.
Hey Camilla, this is Ben from Northwest. I'm on the phone. I'm not logged in
Yes.
on my computer.
Okay, so those who are calling in, if you could email me your name, but you are coming up as a caller. I'll have a count of everybody, and if my count's off, then I'll contact you. Tim King, I'm asking people to put their name in the chat box and let me know if you're having a volume issues or not. And I believe we're going to probably go ahead and do a roll call just for attendance purposes, if that's okay with you, Mayor Taylor.
I'm in.
I can't get the volume, but I just typed in and let her know that you were in and you could hear.
You did tell her?
Yeah, okay. She said, let me know if you're in here and you can hear the roll call.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, if you could put your name in the chat box once again. Is that Miss Rebecca Ray? With the Mayor Taylor, you got your laptop together? Are you still working over there?
Yep, I'm still here.
Okay.
This Oxman Douglas, I finally could hear you now. I got my audio on now.
Alderwoman Douglas?
Yes, I have it on now. This is my first time doing anything like this, so bear with me. I can hear you all, and I got it on recording.
I'm happy to have you, Alderman Douglas. It's summer, our first time favorite for this as well.
This is me too, right? I'm getting familiar with this computer. I got on it last night trying to figure out things. But anyway, you said about, I can email you to let you know that I was, here.
Yes, ma'am. Are you able to locate your chat box?
No. Like I said, I'm not familiar with this. I use my phone a lot, and I said I was going to get on my computer. Because one time I didn't have one. Something happened to my old one, and my son let me have this Chrome. It's a Chrome, like a Chrome computer, like the Chrome, the Samsung. So I had to get used to it.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, well,
But
you
anyway,
can.
I can hear everybody. I can see you. And he said we talking, Costello Douglas, and we talking, Camilla. So I can hear everything. On
Okay.
recording, I got it on recording so I can go back and Mayor Douglas can show me a lot of things.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
We're just trying to give other people a few more minutes to log in.
Okay.
Miss Douglas and everyone else, do you can you mute your mic and tell the mean start now that you can hear?
My mic.
Yeah.
Uh,
So we won't have a background noise.
I see something say microphones default internal mic or internal mic.
Yeah, yeah, microphone. If you click it, it should show up red, and that will mute it, so we won't have background noise. And if you would like to speak, you can click it, and it will turn
Okay.
green.
I see microphone.
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Lynn Thomas, I see you're a professional at this. You got your camera on and everything.
Yep, I have one of these meetings every Friday.
Oh, okay. Um, I'm
Kamala,
gonna
good
just
morning.
good morning. I'm gonna
This,
do a
this,
brief. Go ahead.
no, I was just going to say I've had trouble getting on, but this is Paul Rose just now getting on. Sorry to be late.
Oh, that's fine. And who may I ask this is?
This is Paul Rose, Senator Rose.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, Senator Rose. Thank you for joining. We just see your initials here, so but I'm gonna do a brief call for a quorum in a second. So you say here, and Senator Rose, can you also put your name in the chat box so for attendance purposes?
You know, I'm driving down the highway, and all I'm going to be able to do is listen.
Oh, okay, that's fine. I'll just email you or your assistant just to make sure it was you on a call, just for
Okay, thank
attendance
you.
purposes with the executive order. Okay. Um, if you are a proxy, could you say you are? I'm gonna call the name, and this is just a brief call just to see if we can go ahead and get started for the meeting if we have a quorum or not. I know I see Mayor Taylor there,
Here.
Derek Kisser. You're here for Mayor Gaines? Yes, no. Okay. Executive Huffman is your proxy here.
Yeah, it's Williams here.
William, okay, I don't see your initials, but you're here. William Veazey.
Mel, I'm gonna
Yes.
back out. I've got to reboot this. I'll be right back.
All right, go ahead. Okay, so we got William Veazey here. Let's see. Dwayne Cole proxy here. I believe that's Mr. Stringfellow. Yes
That
or
is
no?
me. I'm here. Yes, I am.
All right. Okay, Mayor Pugh. Let's see. Mayor Neal, proxy here. Bob Turner, have you?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, Senator Rose, you're here as well.
Yes,
Minnie Donnelly, you're here. Danny Hartsfield, Lauderdale County. Okay, he's absent. Lynn Thomas, we have you. Wayne Dowdy. Wayne Dowdy, is that a yes? I'm sorry, Mr. Wayne Dowdy. I need you to be a little louder if you're on the call just for attendance purposes. Okay. Oh, Mayor Taylor,
I'm
do
back.
you know if Wayne Dowdy's on?
I do not know if he's on or not.
Okay, it sounded like someone said, yeah, I think it's a background noise. Shannon Reed. Okay, we need a few more people for the technical committee, Mayor Taylor. Well, Danny Hartfield. He said he would be here, but maybe look like somebody else just joined. All right, Mayor Taylor. Well, I'll give it one more minute. Let me go ahead and get started. Once we start the meeting, do you want to do official roll call for the record, Mayor Taylor?
I will. Do you have enough, do you have a quorum for both committees?
Yeah, we can go ahead and get started. Just double checking. Are you able to see the agenda, Mayor Taylor? Because I know you're having issues with your computers over there.
I can see the agenda. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, yes, sir. Just let me know.
All right. Well, let's see. If everybody's ready to go, we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. Before we get, Camilla, I'm going to call the roll real quick. I know you went through it, but just officially call it, and then we'll move on to the next order of business.
For the roll call, just to align up with the executive order, can you please say here's, because we do need an oral vote for official quorum as I call the roll. So, and everyone else, if you are not that person, please mute yourself. When I, okay, that's not my cell phone. Let somebody's phone. All right. When I call the roll, could you just repeat your name and say here if you are here? Yes, for the official record. Okay, you guys ready? Mayor Taylor, state your name, please. Here. Mayor Taylor.
Yes, here.
Okay. All right.
Camilla,
Mayor Gaines, sir.
let me ask a quick question. Do we have technical committee first and then the executive committee? Or are we doing this all in one big?
We're doing it all together. This how I joined on me.
Okay.
Do you want me to call the technical committee first?
No, you're fine. I just want to make sure I'm doing it in the proper order.
Yes, sir.
Not my fault.
If people could mute your mic until I call your names. I won't get the background noise if you're on your okay. Next, Mayor Gaines. Derek Kisser, if you're his proxy, I need you to state it for the record.
I'm his proxy.
And this is Derek Kisser.
Yeah, Derek Kissel.
Kissel. Thank you, sir. Executive Huffman.
Yeah, William Veazey for proxy.
Thank you, Mr. Veazey. Mayor Cole.
William Stringfellow, proxy for Mayor Cole.
Thank you. All right, Mayor Pugh.
Here.
Mayor Neal.
Bob Turner here for his proxy.
Thank you. Senator Rose.
Paul Rose here.
Thank you. Representative Hertz. Not present. All right, I'm going to go on to the technical committee. We have present for the executive committee, Mayor Taylor, Mayor Gaines proxy, Executive Huffman proxy, Mayor Cole proxy, Mayor Pugh present, Mayor Neal proxy, Senator Rose present, Chris Hertz, Representative Hertz absent. Sorry. All right, technical committee, Mindy Dunley.
She's here.
Danny Hartfield. Oh. All right, Lynn Thompson.
I'm here.
Thank you. Wayne Dowdy. Absent. Shannon Reed, absent. Mr. Ralph Moore,
Here.
thank you. Mr. Hugh Davis,
Here.
thank you. Praji Sylvester, she's absent. That's the NPO rep. All right. For the technical committee, we have Minnie Donnelly, Lynn Thomas, Mr. Ralph Moore, Hugh Davis, absent. Danny Hartfield, William Beasy, voting as a proxy for the executive committee, not technical committee. Rob Turner, vote will be counted as a proxy, not for the technical committee. Glenn Stringfellow, vote will be counted as a proxy for the executive committee, not the technical committee. Wayne Dunley, absent. Derek Kisser will be counted as a proxy for the executive committee, not counted as the technical committee. Shannon Reed, absent. Ralph Moore, present. Mr. Hugh Davis, present. Praji, absent. All right, that's the official roll call. Next, Mayor Taylor.
Okay. Thank you very much, Camilla.
Yes.
I want to thank you everybody for showing up today and calling in with it you can. This is probably the first RPO meeting we've had like this, and to do it right, we've got to do a lot of roll call votes. But Camilla, how many votes today do we have to vote on anything besides the minutes? Is there anything else to vote on, or are these just presentations?
Just the minutes and the motion to have the meeting. Other is a few presentations. I think we have about 3, and we'll try to be speedy.
Okay. All right. There's a motion, ladies and gentlemen, that the governor put out. Well, during the governor's order, I believe it was 16, then he re-upped it. I forget what order number it was. It'll take us through the end of June. We can have these meetings by electronic media. And to do this, we've got to basically say that this is in the public interest. And I've sent Camilla a motion, and if she could read it very briefly and get a motion and a second on that, and quickly go through voting on that just to say that we've officially done this correctly. So Camilla, would you please read that resolution, that motion very quickly?
Yes, sir. Mayor Taylor, would you like a motion for the West Tennessee RPO in accordance with the Tennessee Governor Bill Lee Executive Order 16 has determined that having a meeting by electronic means is necessary to protect the health, safety, and welfare of the West Tennessee RPO citizens in light of COVID-19 outbreak, that the provision of the Tennessee Code annotated Section 844-108C, which addresses open meeting guidelines, are in effect, and that the meeting will be conducted in a manner consistent with Section 18 of the Tennessee Constitution, allowing monitoring by press.
Ladies and gentlemen, yes, that's it. Could I have somebody to accept that motion? Then I need a second on that, please.
I'll make that motion. Eugene Pugh.
Lynn Thompson will second it.
And Mr. Thompson for the second. Thank you very much. Camilla, can you run down through the roll call very quickly?
Yes, sir. All right. Mayor Taylor?
Yes.
Let's see. Derek Kisser from Mayor Gaines?
Yes.
Mr. Stringfellow for Mayor Cole?
That's a yes.
Mayor Pugh?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Turner?
Yes.
Mr.
Oh, sorry.
For Mayor Neal, yes. Senator Rose?
Yes.
Thank you. Mindy Donnelly,
Yes.
thank you. Lynn Thompson, you seconded, so that's a yes.
Yes, yes, yes.
Mr. Moore,
Yes.
Ralph Moore, Mr.
Yes.
Hugh Davis, Mr. Hugh Davis.
Yes. Yes,
All right,
please.
thank you. We have yes for all. Mayor Taylor, I will like to state that this meeting is counting as our third and fourth West Tennessee RPO meeting.
Okay, that sounds good. How many meetings, just so everybody knows, how many meetings are we supposed to have a year?
4, and we did miss the third one due to COVID-19 pandemic. It was canceled or rather rescheduled for this time.
Okay, that sounds fun. All right, we'll go and move on with the agenda, folks. I want to thank y'all for helping us. We have a little computer problems here in my office, and so this may just be a little bit slower than normal. Has everyone had a chance to look at the minutes? Are there any additions or corrections to be made? Not hearing any, I entertain a motion to approve.
This is Bob. I'll make the motion.
Here, a second on anyone?
Paul Rose, second.
Senator Rose, second. Thank you very much. Again, this has to be a roll call vote because of the governor's order. So, Ms. Camilla, if you need that list in front of you so you can go down pretty quick, but you can call the roll, please.
Mayor Taylor,
Yes?
Derek Kisser,
Yes.
William Veazey,
Yes.
Mr. Stringfellow,
Yes.
Mayor Pugh,
Yes.
Bob Turner,
Yes.
Senator Rose,
Yes.
yes. Mindy Donnelly,
Yes.
Lynn Thompson,
Yes.
Mr. Ralph Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Hugh Davis.
Yes.
We have all yeses, Mayor Taylor.
All right, thank you very much. Next item on the agenda today is the coordinator update. Ms. Camilla, can you give us what's been going on?
Yes, sir. I have a nice PowerPoint. It is a slight delay when it comes to the PowerPoint, so please bear with us. All right, just give me a moment to pull it up. For those who are on the phone, the PowerPoint from me and it's all the ones that will be seen will be emailed out. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right. West Tennessee RPO updates. I'm Camilla Kelly, West Tennessee RPO coordinator. All right, the 2020 Multimodal Access Grant awardee, we had an award in our area, which is Ripley, Tennessee. Those who would like to do one-on-one about their multimodal application, Covington, Mumford, Henry, and Somerville, you can contact me. Covington and Mumford, you already did your one-on-one. Somerville, we have one scheduled. Someone from Henry would like to do a one-on-one about their application to improve it for next time, please let me know. Alderwoman Douglas, I know you're here representing Henry, so you or the mayor can email me.
All right.
CTPG updates, they're coming soon. We did have submissions from Mumford, Mason, as well as Tipton County. Due to the COVID-19, a few things are a little behind, but updates are coming soon. Okay, currently we have the Atoka Community Transportation Planning request. It has been submitted to TDOT. We're waiting for a response back from that. We also have the National Scenic Byway Program that's been submitted for all American roads application to the federal government. Some active grants in the Atoka area. In the area, we have the Atoka. They're working on their TAP grant. It's in phase 2. We also have them trying for right-of-way acquisition for the roundabout. We also have Covington awaiting for Highway 51 connection. They're in phase 1. LaGrange, they're working on their sidewalk grant for 2016. They're approximately 90% finished. This is a new grant from TDOT. It's called the RUPA. It is open to distress and at-risk counties. It's basically a grant that allows for planning in the area, and the highest amount is $25K. And on this slide, I know you guys are not able to see it that well. I'll try to make it larger, but it's a few basically plans that could you use for the grant. If you want this, one of will be corridor studies. It's really similar to some of the activity that's with the Community Transportation Planning Grant. So transportation news, I'll be emailing these links out. But Tennessee distribute about $200 million to the county and city government through government and local support planning. And as you guys know, in September 2019, we voted on a Rural Region Transportation Planning Grant. If you have any suggestions, questions about that, please email me and we can do some send TDOT share comments on that. Anybody have any questions, concerns, comments?
This is pretty much Lauderdale County and the cities within it, correct?
Yes, sir. I mean, in our area, because we don't have any at-risk counties, but Lauderdale is considered distressed. So if Lauderdale County would like to apply, Henny, Gates, Halls, please let me know. It is due on June 10th. And like I said, it's a list of different projects you can use that for.
Anything else?
That's all I have. I'm gonna go back to it's a little delay, Mir.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay. All right, Mir, I'm complete. Do you want to state who's next? That was number 4, so Chairman Taylor.
That's fine. Yeah, the resurfacing the presentation is the next is from TDOT.
All right, I'll bring it up.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Mayor Taylor and Camilla. My name is Antoine Hawkins with TDOT's Office of Community Transportation, and we're just going to do a quick presentation on OCT's effort to coordinate the upcoming resurfacing list. As Camilla's pulling that up, just one quick update. They are finalizing the resurfacing list, work with headquarters. We should have that published hopefully within the next couple of weeks. I'll repeat this on the slide, but there'll be a couple of ways that we'll have the list available. One, it will be published online, and also we'll send the list to Camilla, and Camilla will disseminate to everyone accordingly. So with that, I'll go ahead and get started. Thank you again, everyone, for braving the elements to attend our virtual meeting today, and I can proceed.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
All right. Okay, but one quick thing as we proceed forward, we're doing resurfacing again to try to incorporate scheduled projects simultaneously with resurfacing efforts, just for efficiency and cost purposes. So first, let me start with a brief history of resurfacing and the coordination therein. So previously, prior to OCT attempting to better conduct the outreach efforts, municipalities were contacted regarding resurfacing with limited time to respond. Now, when the resurfacing coordination occurred, we didn't consistently request local input aside from the ever important utility coordination. And when there were changes made, it generally only stuck with striping and markings that incorporated new required safety standards due to the resurfacing. Next slide, please. So once we do the coordination, what are the possibilities that can occur once we have the resurfacing lists combining with any potential projects that the cities may have? Some of them are painting of bike lanes or the installation of buffers onto the roads directly. We can have enhancements to existing crosswalks. We can do road reconfigurations and road diets. We can also incorporate rumble stripes and strips, and also do utility coordination. And I'll give a little information of those further in the presentation. Next slide, Camilla. Now, additional things to keep in mind in terms of coordination. Some requests may require cost sharing from the jurisdiction, and in some cases, depending on what's being requested, stamped engineering drawings may be required. Now, all change requests need to be approved by the regional traffic engineers at Region 4 at least 21 weeks prior to the letting dates. So it's very important to initiate coordination as soon as possible. And one other caveat is changes are only made from curb to curb, or more accurately, edge of pavement to edge of pavement. One exception to that is TDOT will update existing curb ramps to make them PROAG compliant. All right, next slide, Camilla. All right, this is just an example of curb to curb. Again, curb to curb is not including any sidewalks. It's if we want to have a bike lane installed. Here in this example, we have two 10-foot drive lanes and a 10-foot turning lane, left and right turning lane. So this is just a visual example of what curb to curb would be in terms of any resurfacing coordination and what's included and not included. All right, next slide, Camilla. All right, this is just an example of bike lanes and buffers. Again, in terms of bike lanes, having them painted directly on the road, they're efficient and cost effective. They'll utilize existing shoulder, striping, and signage. So this will be included in the current right-of-way, so there wouldn't have to be any additional right-of-way purchasing. It'll already be included therein. It will follow all TDOT and MUTCD requirements. It accounts for bike level of current of service and the current routes. Now, one thing we say is really only appropriate for in areas with potential for high bicycle traffic. And a bike and pedestrian plan is strongly encouraged, not required, but encouraged to support this request. And again, we just have a couple of ways that you can have a bike and pedestrian plan along a corridor. As Camilla mentioned earlier, we have the RUPI, or Rural Planning Initiative, and then, of course, our larger community transportation planning grant. Next slide.
Anything I need to go away.
Okay. And this is just an example of crosswalk enhancements that we have. Again, once the resurfacing occurs, TDOT will update existing curb ramps to be PROAG compliant. Disappeared.
Give us a minute, Antoine.
Okay.
It's just one more.
That's fine. That's fine. Well, I mean, yeah. And again, unless otherwise requested by MUTC or TDOT, the existing crosswalk stripe will be replaced in kind. So in essence, if there's a resurfacing that's occurring, any curbs that are already existing will be replaced in terms of the painting and striping. And then we can wait till it comes up for the next slide.
Okay,
All right, great. Thanks, Camilla. Okay, so this is just an example of a road reconfiguration. This is if you have current existing lanes, the traffic allows for it. This will allow for the minimizing of lanes to the federal minimums, which is 11 foot, and also this is the installation and painting of bike lanes directly onto the road. So this is just an example, a visual example of how a road can be configured in coordination with the resurfacing project. Next slide, Camilla. Also, this is a road diet, and a road diet typically involves converting any existing 4-lane or higher undivided road segment into a 3-lane segment that also includes the incorporation of a bike lane. This can reduce cross-lane accidents. It can also add traffic calming measures depending on the type of diet that's requested. And it requires additional study for roads greater than 10,000 average annual daily traffic. And we have a seamless online tool that can be completed to determine if a road is eligible for a road diet. And we do have that online. And also, if there's a specific route that you'd like to have studied for the feasibility of a road diet is a scope within our RUPI and our CTPG. Next slide, Camilla. An additional coordination that we're seeking to do is coordination on scheduling with TDOT on any type of locally run projects, including any sidewalk projects, adjacent roadway projects, or any utility projects. We want to make sure that we're all working in conjunction in uniform to make sure there are no conflicts in terms of the resurfacing that we have scheduled or any projects you have scheduled. In addition, once you receive the list, if there are any major events or festivals along the routes that we will need to schedule around, we want to make sure to have those to make sure we're not abutting or impeding on any type of scheduling or events. Now, we know with COVID-19, things are up in the air in terms of any festivals, but hopefully we'll be back rolling soon and we'll be able to get everything on. Next slide, Camilla. Okay, now our outreach process, again, as I mentioned earlier, the draft paving list will be made available online, and hopefully we'll have those in the next couple of weeks. Next slide. Okay, now what we'll do is we're also going to send official letters to each jurisdiction on the final list. The letters will contain a state route, the type of resurfacing, the beginning and ending termini, a map, and a deadline to make any changes. Also included on the letter email will be our multimodal, the resurfacing coordinators, and the RPO coordinators. Next slide. And then what we need from you is just to forward the letter to anyone who needs to know about the paving project, i.e. utilities, maintenance, planning, any bike coordinators within the city. And if you have requests, please reply all to our email and reply before the deadline so we can make the 21-week minimum time frame to get those included. Next slide, please. And again, if you have any questions about the appropriateness of bike lanes, road diet, or road configurations, please reach out to our multimodal planning resources division. And you can also visit their website as well. And they have a lot of great links on bicycle and pedestrian planning and incorporation of projects. And I believe we have one more slide. And that's everything. So any questions, I'll take some now. Or if you have any questions, you can always reach out to myself or Ashley via phone or email. And with that, that's the resurfacing presentation. So any questions?
I've got one real quick question.
Absolutely.
On your road diets, isn't that making a 4-lane road basically down to a 2-lane road?
Yes, it could be 2 or 3. It could be a 3-lane with a center island and adding 2 bike lanes on either side, or it can also be a 2-lane road, just depending on how wide we want the actual multimodal lane to be. So it can be 2 or 3.
And what would that do to the capacity of the road if you take it from 4 down to those 2 and a turning or whatever? Does it? Right.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mayor Taylor.
Does it create a choke point?
Well, it wouldn't create a choke point, but it really would be contingent on the amount of traffic currently. Like if we'll just say it's a level of service that's already D or C, then we wouldn't create a road diet that would create a choke point. So we have that study, and I can send an email of that online. We'll do a study to make sure that it wouldn't create a choke point or create any issues once that particular corridor is created. So once a road diet is implemented, the study will look at the specific corridor for the diet and then the closest adjacent areas to make sure that, hey, once we do a diet, exiting the road diet area, we wouldn't create a choke point or create any type of potential bottlenecks that can occur.
Okay. And one last question.
Sure.
On some state, I call them state minor roads that are not heavily traveled, but they're state roads. Would you be able to add extra pavement on it? Because the pavement currently there is not enough, but we do have there's a couple of roads in Fayette County that are frequent and used quite a bit by bikers. Are y'all able to actually add an extra lane on one side or both sides?
I can double check that with our paving coordinator, because I know that will potentially include the purchase and access of right of way and expanding the lane. It's possible, but I think it will take a little coordination and studying in terms of where the road is. So I can certainly ask that question if it's any specific routes and send that up accordingly, Mayor.
Okay. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
All right, thank you, Mr. Hawkins. We'll go back to the agenda.
All right, let's see.
Give me a second to pull back up the agenda, Mayor Taylor.
Okay.
Okay.
Got it?
Yes, sir, you got it.
All right. Next item on the agenda today looks to be other business and any multimodal access grant.
I think we have someone here presenting. Matthew from Multimodal, are you here?
I am here, yes.
Okay, give me a moment to pull up your presentation, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Okay, no problem.
Before Matthew gets started, I just want to state I have roughly around 20 attendees here, and I know everyone did put their name in the chat box, but if you did not, I will be contacting you for attendance purposes, so you can email me or I will contact you, but I do need to make sure I show all attendees. All right, Mr. Matthew, let me pull up the presentation.
Sure, and while she's doing that, I'll introduce myself. I've actually spoken with some of you recently, but my name is Matthew Cushing. I am in TDOT's Office of Multimodal Planning, so just got a shout out from OCT a moment ago. Basically, I wanted to take the time today. We just recently closed out a multimodal access grant cycle. Camilla talked about kind of the applicants already there, so I won't go into too much detail there. But we are already planning for our next cycle. So I just wanted to take the time to briefly kind of remind everyone what the program is, see if there's any questions, and kind of just let you know what we're thinking about for the next cycle. So Camilla, I guess you're going to be driving the PowerPoint today?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, if you could go ahead and move us into the presentation. So it seems a lot of you are familiar with the Multimodal Access Grant already, but just in case you are not, it is a grant program that is largely designed to support transit users, pedestrians, and bicyclists through infrastructure projects that address accessibility and fill in existing gaps in multimodal infrastructure, so like sidewalks, bike lanes, etc., along state routes and the transit hubs. Can we next slide, please? So some high-level information on this kind of grant opportunity. Tennessee cities and counties can apply directly. It used to be that it was through the RPO process, but now it can be applied directly by the city or the county. It is a high state match. It's 95% state match. Generally, that brings us to a total project cost of about $1 million. So the maximum state funding can be $950,000. The areas where a project is eligible to apply are just really directly along state routes. And it is important to know that this is really for a transportation purpose. So kind of like recreational greenways, things like that aren't really great fits for this type of program, unless you can argue that they do genuinely serve a transportation purpose. I will note for awarded projects, it is locally managed. Of course, you can hire people to help manage that project, but it is locally managed and it is a reimbursement program. So when awarded, the communities do actually pay up front and they get reimbursed by TDOT. But the types of projects that you'll see are oftentimes sidewalks and pedestrians crossings, sometimes bike lanes or separated bicycle facilities. In relevant areas, sometimes transit stop amenities or park and ride facilities, so like bus shelters, curb cuts for those bus shelters, things like that. Road diets and traffic calming measures. Antoine kind of queued us up really well on what those might look like, but you can do those on state routes through this funding source. You can also bring up the curb ramps and other accessibility issues on crosswalks or on sidewalks, and pedestrian scale lighting. A lot of these things can come together. So like generally speaking, if it's a project just for pedestrian scale lighting, it's probably not going to score too high on our scoring criteria, but that in conjunction with some other improvements may be helpful. I will make one small note that these funds cannot be used to move utilities that are located in the public right of way. So that's just one thing to think about. If there are a lot of utilities in a corridor, they couldn't be funded to be moved by this funding source. Camilla, next slide, please.
Yes, sir.
So I won't spend too long on these criteria. The types of things, though, that we are generally looking for in the scoring committees, we're making sure, and these are in order of weight for the historic weightings. I will kind of talk about the future at the end here. But generally speaking, we're making sure that the project addresses the safety need is kind of the number one scoring criteria. We're making sure that it's helping connect things. So I mentioned before that this program has historically kind of looked to fill in the gaps in a state route. So in the past, kind of the archetypal project has been, let's say there are two sidewalks that don't connect on a state route, and there's a gap in the middle, and you fill that in, and it increases the connectivity for the network. That's kind of been the historical preference, but we are starting to understand that there are places where those gaps, there's just not even sidewalk, for instance, and those are also types of places where you might see projects. Like I said, bike lanes might work here, but basically we're just trying to make sure they connect origins and destinations in the community. Local priority is any sort of efforts towards prior planning or policies that support multimodal infrastructure and a history of public engagement in the community, just showing that the community really has thought about this, wants to make it work. This is a great place if you do have a community transportation planning grant. You will get extra points for that in the scoring. Readiness, basically, are there any things that are going to make it very hard to move forward with the project? So if there's preliminary engineering, that's helpful. But I mean, is there going to be a bridge that's built or a bridge that's impacted? Are there rail lines that are going to be impacted? Things like that. And economic impact. Is this likely to help disadvantaged populations or to encourage economic development in the area? So those are the types of things we're looking for in projects. And if you have all of these things, you'll probably score well. Camilla, next slide, please. So one of the main reasons I wanted to speak with you all today is we are actually gearing up for the next cycle right now. So we are targeting trying to get the notice of intent to apply phase opened in early June, probably in about 2 to 3 weeks. So for people who would like, or for communities that would like to apply, I know some of you already have in previous cycles, so this will seem familiar. In early June, we'll be posting on our Multimodal Access Grant website a notice of intent to apply, where communities can fill out high-level details on a potential project. Now, this is not a full application. This is mostly kind of like, where are you thinking about putting a project in? And we will take that, review it for eligibility. And eligibility mostly just means, is it on a state route? We're not scoring at this phase in the project. We're not saying, this one is, a more competitive project than another project, nothing like that. We're just seeing if it is something that is eligible to compete, and if so, we will be inviting full applications from those communities. One note I will make compared to prior cycles, we are anticipating that the NOI, the Notice of Intent to Apply document this year, will have a few more preliminary questions than in the prior years, things about project readiness and prior planning. Mostly we're doing that just to get communities thinking about those things ahead of time. These will not be used as screening at the Notice of Intent to Apply phase, but there will be a slightly more detailed questionnaire that comes with it this year. Like I said, we're anticipating posting that and opening that in a few weeks, early June, and we are expecting to give communities a month and a half to 2 months to kind of get that preliminary Notice of Intent to Apply submitted. We are still getting those exact dates figured out, but when we do post in early June, we will have a calendar for the program cycle posted online as well. Camilla, next slide. So I won't go into too much detail on the full application yet, but I did mention the NOI is kind of the Notice of Intent to Apply is kind of the preliminary just project screening to make sure that projects are eligible. When a project is eligible, we will invite the applicants to submit a full application in eGrants. This is a much more detailed application, and it includes a budget and letters of support from the RPO, the municipal mayor, and a state legislator, the relevant state legislator. I just want to point out that these applications, if awarded, are used as support in the contract. So do expect that if you do submit a full application, that it should be kind of as final as possible. We are expecting to invite eligible applications around late August or early September. Like I said, once we post the full calendar, that'll be more firm. And then probably late October to early November is when we would have the final submission. Next slide, Camilla. So at a very high level in the long term, we will be scoring those applications through January of 2021. We expect to announce the awards in February of 2021. We also expected that this last year, and obviously it's been a complicated year. So it was a little slower than that. And just for reference, usually awarded projects are completed in 3 to 5 years. So there's usually preliminary engineering, environmental, and right-of-way acquisition potentially, and construction. So it is often about 5 years before a project is actually constructed and on the ground. So that's kind of the high-level overview. I noticed that I didn't include a slide with my contact information. I'll put that in the chat box when I'm done, just so if you want to reach out, you can do so. As Camilla mentioned, I am happy to do one-on-ones if anyone has submitted an application and wanted to debrief about it. But moving forward, if you would like to submit a project and you have any questions about, our scoring, what might be competitive, kind of what we're looking for, what the program is generally, do feel free to reach out. I am happy to do kind of just one-on-one conversations about that, or including Camilla as well. So like I said, that's coming up. At this point, I'll open it in case there are any questions. Is there anything anyone wanted to ask or discuss about this?
This is Bob Turner. I have a question.
Yeah.
The procurement process for engineering and administrative people on these projects. You get an engineer or an administrator to come and help you apply for these grants, and then later on you do a procurement process for those services. It seems to me that's kind of backwards. I feel like that procurement process should be much earlier in the process, like right now. And really, in reality, our own purchasing policy does not require a procurement process for engineering services or a grant writer services. So I don't know. I don't see why we have to do that extra step, or we have to change the process. What's your feeling on that?
So let me respond. I will say that there's kind of a handoff between our office and our local programs office, where Office of Multimodal Planning helps select projects and kind of select scope. And then it works within our local programs guidelines, which is a much more standardized, kind of lengthy process. If I'm understanding your comment, it's essentially that, let me see if I'm paraphrasing correctly, that it would be nice to be able to start procurement before an award and then continue through with the same people that have been procured through the actual delivery of the project. Is that kind of your point?
Yeah, basically, I think we should be procuring the people now. I mean, if we're going to do it, if we're going to apply in October, if we get past, if we're going to put the NOI in there, and then we're going to get somebody to help us with that, preparing that, and then we're going to turn around 3 months later and award that contract to somebody else, that doesn't seem right.
Sure. I don't know if I have I don't know if I know the history of the policy. I suspect that it is related to the fact that in our eyes, before there is a contract for an awarded project, at least in TDOT's eyes, there is not a project. So I think that's part of the reason for that. I will bring that up with our local programs team. We're meeting with them next week to talk about this.
Right,
cycle.
except
I'll
that
see if they have any.
I understand there's no project, but on the other hand, we have to get these people to help us do this, to turn these preliminary papers in, and then the preliminary scope of the project, if we actually get accepted to go on to the next step, so that they have done a lot of work, and maybe it's not a whole lot of work, but it is some work, and they should have a reasonable expectation of receiving that award whenever it is in November, or whenever we get the approval. So I don't know. I just think it's all kind of backwards.
Well, I appreciate that feedback. I will check with that team to see kind of what their thoughts are. I definitely understand the concern that you're referencing. I'm not sure I'm familiar with their exact history and logic there, but I'll check, and your concern is definitely noted. I appreciate you bringing it up.
Okay.
All right. If there are any other questions, I'll go back to the agenda. Bear with me, Mayor Taylor.
Okay. Is there any other business from the board that we need to address while we're here? Anything that we didn't talk about that somebody feels we should have? Okay, not hearing anything. I don't know that we've got any public on board, but if there's a member of the public who's on this who would like to speak, now is the time. Is there anyone who would like to speak?
As far as the attendance purposes, I just need to make one more statement. Far as people who are callers, William Beasy, are you a caller? Are you on the phone?
Yes.
Okay, because I have a list of all attendees, and the callers are only showing up as callers, so I need to make sure I have a name. May I ask who is attending for the town of Toka? I need a name. Town of Atoka. Okay, I'll email them because you guys are just showing up. As far as okay, I see your name. Okay, Amanda, thank you. Put it on there. All right. And far as my callers, if I do not state your name, could you please let me know that you're a caller because your name, you're only showing up as a caller and not an attendee. Shelton Merle, Ben Bradbury, Mr. Ralph Moore, Senator Rose, Mayor Pugh, William Beasy. I'm missing 2 or 3 more callers. Names, please.
Carstella Douglas.
Okay, I have you, Alderman Douglas.
Okay.
Anyone else? Should be 2 other callers. All right. Well, maybe they're members of the public. I don't know. Maybe my count is. Maybe the computer count is a little off. It looked like some people has already left. All right. Mayor Taylor. That's all I have. I'll email out for attendance. It looked like we had a little over 20 people for attendance that I actually have names. So that's all I have.
Very good. You've got the chat and you've also got the recording. So if you have to go back and prove who's here, that shouldn't be too big a problem. Folks, I want to thank y'all very much for tuning in today. And when's our next scheduled meeting?
Let me see. We don't have an exact date yet, but we're looking at probably September or August. Probably September. Mayor, we do them every quarter. Did everyone hear me?
I can hear you.
Every time.
Yeah, I'll be emailing out an exact date.
Folks, if there's no other business, entertain a motion to adjourn.
Hey, Mayor Taylor, I just want to add one quick thing before we adjourn.
Yes, sir.
Hey, again, it's Anton Hawkins. Really quickly, we currently have an Interstate 40 corridor study going on, and the study is simply to assist us in guiding decision-making for future projects. We're studying freight, we're studying traffic movement, we're studying potential projects. It's a 20-year phase set of recommendations for I-40 throughout our region. We currently have a survey that's ongoing online, so if anyone has any comments on Interstate 40, we also would love to receive those, and you can reach out to me directly for more information on that. I want to add that really quickly that we are currently in the process of a corridor study, and right now we're just in the existing conditions and data analysis phase of that. So we'd love to have any comments that you have for any future improvements on I-40. That's all I have. Thank you, Mayor.
All right, sounds good. You're aware the MPO has a pretty in-depth corridor study that includes parts of I-40, correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
I move we adjourn.
Thank you.
What's your name? We adjourn. William Thompson. Okay, motion by Thompson. Who's second?
And second by anybody.
This is Bob. I'll second it.
All right. All those in favor, sign off.
Hi. Thank you for joining us. Take care.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
How do we get out of here? Yeah, I'm just going to close it. It's probably not done it though. I probably didn't disconnect it.
I'm the only one left. I don't